Welcome to another episode of RTD News Updates. And as you can see from today's backdrop, we're going to be talking about the Nigerian Naira. And just to kind of give you somewhat of an outline of what's currently underway in Nigeria, their economy over the last year or so hasn't been doing too well due to the fact that they've unpegged the dollar from the Naira. And for the most part, the black market exchange rate of the dollar has soared, causing massive, inflation of prices as well as just overall just hard times for the Nigerian people. And so I have about 6 or so articles here that I'm going to share with you, basically just painting the picture of how bad things are, predominantly around the fact that their currency, the Nigerian Naira, is reported by a former ex-deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Obadiah Malefa, I believe, how he came out with a recent statement saying that there's approximately 20% of the currency circulating in Nigeria is counterfeit. And so that right there is major news there, being that, if you're holding on to some paper that may not be legal tender or authorized by the government, you're basically, your wealth has been stolen from you. And so I want to dive into these articles here, and then as always, put them down below so that you can go for yourself and find out more about these articles. So we'll start off with the first. So let's dive into today's first article. So here we have the first article from Daily Post. Nigeria has 20% fake currency in circulation, ex-deputy CBN governor. So this is actually posted a few weeks ago. And so it's better to get it out now than to wait too long. But story still is relevant in the fact that 20% of the currency, apparently, according to Dr. Malafia, said that, it's not good for the economy. So he actually lists his point as to why that is. So I'll give you a little bit of what's going on here. It says a former deputy governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Obadiah Malefa, has disclosed that Nigeria has 20% fake currency in various denominations in circulation. He gave this disclosure at a public hearing on 2007 budget proposals organized by Joint Committee on Public Appropriations at the National Assembly in Abuja. Taking a prognosis on the effectiveness of this year's budget, he warned that it may take the country longer than necessary to come out of the recession, noting that it also has a high interest rate element. It says the fake currency circulating means that they are not officially captured for monetary policies, and its high interest rates could elongate a recession period. In his paper, presentation titled Public Finance in the Context of Economic Recession, Innovative Options, he said, it was saddening that the concerning authorities appeared to be oblivious of the gravity of fake currency circulation, which he noted was highly detrimental to the growth of the economy. When fake currencies of that magnitude circulate, original currencies become scarce, he says, noting that bad money chase away good money. So basically stating a concept known as Gresham's law, which is a monetary policy in that when there's two mediums of exchange or two commodity monies in circulation, one that tends to rise to the top as far as being able to retain value is the one that's kept in possession of the owner, and the one that is of less value is the one that's circulated. So basically what he's kind of hinting at is that those who actually have the real currency, they're actually holding on to that. And if they come across the idea that the currency they're using is fake, then they'll circulate that more. And that kind of just, eliminates some of the cash supply available when they're holding on to the legal tender and circulating the counterfeit tender. So, more information there if you're interested in reading about that. Next article from News 24 says huge amount of fake money in circulation in Nigeria. And this is from Lagos, the capital, I believe. It says ex-Nigeria governor of Central Bank has reportedly said that a huge amount of fake money is in circulation in the West African country. According to BBC, Malefa said that at least 20% of the Nigerian currency, the Naira, circulated in the country is fake or was fake. He called on the authorities to crack down on fake money to protect the economy. Then he goes on to say, when fake currencies of that magnitude circulates, original currencies become scarce. This came as Nigeria's anti-corruption watchdog, the Economic and Financial Crisis Commission, reportedly found at least 9.8 million cash in a facility belonging to an ex-Nigerian oil company boss. The EFCC said a special operation by its operatives on February 3rd, 2017 at a property belonging to Dr. Andrew Yakubu yielded a sum of 9.7728 million and another sum of about 74,000 in British pounds. So based on the fact that they found a warehouse full of cash, kind of brought this to the light that approximately 20%, according to the ex-governor, is fake. Next article here is from the Newsweek, and it says Nigeria's central bank slams 20% fake currency claim. So the central bank responded back by saying that it's nowhere near 20%, but they'll give us a figure as to what it could be in their estimates. And so it says here, Nigeria's central bank has denied claims by one of its former governors that 20% of the currency in circulation in the West African country is fake. In a budget hearing at the country's National Assembly on Monday, Obadiah, former deputy governor, claimed that a huge amount of cash, fake currency, was in circulation. And then it says here, but in a statement on Wednesday, about a week or 2 weeks ago, the CBN described Malefia's claims as spurious and grossly uninformed. The bank stated that the actual amount of fake currency in circulation in Nigeria between January and December of 2016 was 0.0014%, equivalent to 14 counterfeit notes out of 1 million pieces of currency. So my question would be is how can the central bank be so sure of those percentages, of the fact that it's less than 1% is actually fake, when, if Gresham's law proves to be correct, when people are actually holding on to, real authentic currency and circulating the fake kind, how can you then have an accurate measurement of what's fake and what's real when a lot of fake currency is floating throughout the country? So those statistics would, definitely, draw a red flag to me anyway. It says, while we acknowledge that no currency in the world is immune from counterfeiting, we make bold to state that the rate of counterfeiting in Nigeria has been very minimum due to appropriate policies put in place by the bank. The CBN also challenged Malefia's, whom it did not address by name in the statement, to provide empirical evidence for this claim that 1/5 of the Nigerian currency known as a Naira in circulation was fake. So basically, the central bank is like, where's your proof? Well, the proof would be that he's a former employee of the bank, and he's the guy behind the scenes, not sure how long ago, but the fact he's a former employee lets me know that he's basically blowing the whistle or coming out saying somewhat of the truth. Even if it's not 20%, it's good to say that it's more than 1%. So his position as former executive governor of the central bank is proof enough for me to realize that there's problems with the currency there. So articles below if you're interested in reading more about that. Next article here is from Africa News, basically just stating more that less than 1% of Nigeria's currency is fake. And then it has a gentleman here counting the Nigerian Naira on a money machine. And so basically got a couple stacks here. And so it just shares some of the same information. It says the Central Bank of Nigeria has said less than 1% of the Naira is in currency. Its circulation was fake. This is a response to the claim by former deputy of CBN saying that 20% was fake. It says 20% of the currency in Nigeria is fake. And so it says, while we acknowledge that no currency in the world is immune for counterfeiting, we make so pretty much same news there, but just an interesting picture here of a desk full of Naira being counted. Next article. Here we have the Nigerian Bulletin. It says how Nigeria's currency became worth less. And so this was actually a longer article, but it gives more of an account of how the current administration came into being and how they basically free floated the currency. And from there, it's just depreciated massively. And so it says Nigerian Naira has been a major headache for its citizens, investors, and businesses owners as the currency fell short of largest economies in Africa. In 2016 alone, the currency was ranked among the worst performing currencies in the world. But this was thanks to the federal government and the monetary authority's slow approaches in attending to the market play. So here it has a picture of the president and some of the cabinet around him. It says how it all started, and I'll give you a quick rundown, but other than that, leave it up to you to read more if you're interested. Almost a year after President Muhammad Buhari took over the government in 2015, the monetary authority hearkens to the cries of investors, analysts, economists, and countrymen by allowing the Naira to float freely at the official rate on June 15th, 2016. After policy, the currency moved swiftly from $1.99 at the official rate and $2.15 at the parallel, that's to the dollar, markets to $300 and over $400 to $1 at the official and market segments, respectively. So initially being pegged at the dollar at about $1.99, so 199 Naira to $1, to basically being free floating and falling to over $400 per dollar is a huge loss in purchasing power. And so being that the economy is already in recession due to low oil prices, the cost of goods imported in surely spiked. So shortly after the sharp fall against the three major currencies, the euro, pound, and dollar, the Central Bank of Nigeria, headed by Godwin Emefiele, used governmental instruments on the currency at the official market by pegging it at 305 to the dollar. This is despite granting a concession to some businesses, coupled with the President Mohammed Badia federal government's body language. With the policy and tools employed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Naira doubled its exchange rate since system to the official rate, market, parallel market, manufacturers' rates, pilgrim schools, fees, and stuff like that. So, entry goes on to more, and it talks about the panic and speculations in 2017, adjusting the weakening of the currency, and just some of the recent activity as far as them basically issuing some forwards to banks, basically, pre-locking in a certain rate for the future, which basically drew in a little money for them as they sold dollars to kind of keep the currency somewhat afloat. But it shows here a graph here of just the rates at which is the official rate, and then you have the 3-month forward and then the 6-month forward here, and the rates they're locked in at. So people are definitely speculating on this currency. So more interesting news in the bottom if you're interested. And the last article here is from Reuters, and it's Nigeria Naira firms above 4-month high on black market. And so this was actually out a couple days ago. And it says Nigerian Naira gained 2.2% to 450 per dollar on the black market. So as of last week, it is $1 will get you 450 Naira on the streets. It says more than 4-month high a day after the central bank intervened by selling dollars on the interbank market. On Monday, the central bank sold $80 million to retail customers and another $100 million in currency forwards to increase dollar liquidity and support the Naira. So central bank doing everything they can to try to keep this thing afloat, but yet due to the fact the economy is in a recession, the GDP is in a negative. I think last year was the first year they actually had a negative contraction of the entire year, which is the first time, I believe, in 25 years I read from the article. So that's what's happening in the news. But more importantly, I want to share my thoughts on the whole idea of the massive counterfeiting in Nigeria and how Gresham laws apply to this. And so basically when it's brought to the main light that the currency is fake, those who get wind of that, especially those local citizens that are aware of now that they have to actually keep an eye out on each individual note they receive, they're going to hoard the real things and going to float out more of the fake money, which means it'll promote more counterfeiting, which is ultimately theft. It's one thing when the central banks do it through quantitative easing and stimulus packages such as that in Europe, and what happened here after the crisis in 2009 with our Federal Reserve stimulating by quantitative easing. But it's one thing when you have people on the street, have criminals of whatever kind that actually have printing presses in their basement, and they go about just printing massive amounts of currency, which ultimately comes back to rob those who are saving the currency. And another thing with the Nigerian economy, a lot of people don't trust the banking sector there, so a lot of people are actually holding on to cash. And so the cash they're holding on to might not be real. And if it's not real, you're losing purchasing power. Because if you take one of those thousand Naira notes and go to the market and try to spend it and find out it's fake and they don't accept it, you're short of 1,000 Naira. So just my thoughts on what's happening. But other than that, this is what's news in happening in the world with the Nigerian Naira. Hope you found this informative. As always, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And also feel free to share this information so others can become aware of what's happening around the globe dealing with currencies and monetary events. So other than that, look forward to bringing you more news. Thanks.